First of all, I would like to recognize our Sergeant at Arms, Jonas Cherry, Dean Marshburn, Winfield Riley, I think he's outside, and Glenn Wall. Also, we have some pages that's with us this week, and so hopefully you are learning a lot, and hope you're enjoying your time up here. The pages we have today, and if I murder your name, I'll go ahead and apologize in advance. Kaya, no, I don't think this is right. I think this is yesterday. Meyer Brode, stand up if you would. Okay. Miriam Gerard, don't see her. And Chloe, I think they're outside with the audience. But anyhow, thank you, pages, for coming today, and hopefully you'll enjoy your time up here in the legislature, and you will learn a lot. Before we get started, we got several things that's going to be a little bit out of sync. I wanted to let you know that two bills are going to be removed from today's committee meeting. House Bill 431 is going to be removed. And House Bill 729 is going to be removed. This time I will recognize Chairman McNeely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the discretion of the chair, this afternoon we think we'll hear House Bill 468, Kratom regulations. Actually have a member, or former member of the Utah Senate with us today, former Senator Curtis Bramble, who has come a long way. He now represents the American Kratom Association. Because he has a 4 o'clock flight out today, about the time we'll reconvene, I was hoping he could speak a couple minutes this morning on House Bill 468, if that would be the pleasure of the chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
Former Senator Bramble, would you please step forward and address us?
Thank you, Representative, members of the committee, Mr. Chair. I stand before you as a recovering legislator after 24 years in the Utah Senate. I was approached about a plant that comes from Indonesia called Kratom. When I heard about it in 2018, I immediately got online, Googled it, and found that the FDA didn't like it. And there was a whole litany of horribles about Kratom. And I was asked by the American Kratom Association if I would run legislation. I told them I wouldn't. I'm kind of a boring CPA. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I've been married 47 years, 6 kids, 20 grandkids, just pretty boring. But then I did some research, and I found that the science behind Kratom, that the benefit to the public, particularly the benefit for folks that are trying to kick the opioid habit, folks that are having trouble with pain mitigation, etc., that there are some real benefits. And after doing the research, I found that the real problem with Kratom isn't the pure plant that comes from Indonesia. 95% comes deep in the jungles of Borneo. I know, I've been there multiple times doing due diligence and research on it. But the problem is bad actors adulterate the pure plant. They adulterate it with fentanyl, benzodiazepine, tramadol, etc. Because Kratom itself, there is no euphoric high, there's no mental impairment, there is no respiratory depression. You can't overdose on this plant. But after I open a bill, I've literally received thousands of emails from folks that say Kratom saved their lives. On a personal note, I wish I would have known about Kratom long before I introduced it in the Utah legislature. Of our 6 children, my middle daughter, her husband died of an opioid overdose, and had we known about Kratom, we could have saved his life. So when folks say, well, hold it, why are you involved in this, Bramble? What are you doing? It makes a difference in people's lives. Mac Haddow, the senior fellow for policy for the American Kratom Association, will address the committee this afternoon and can answer all the technical questions, can outline the science and such. But I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to tell you what we did in Utah. We passed it. If the plant is on the market, it has to be pure plant, can't be adulterated, synthesized, or concentrated, has to be a certificate of analysis with our Department of Agriculture, and the product has to be properly labeled. I'm open to any questions. if that's appropriate.
Representative Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator Bramwell, thank you so much for coming to North Carolina, and we look forward to working with you in the future. And Representative McNeely, thank you for inviting him out, and committee, thank you for the attention that you've given him.
Thank you.
Do you have anything, Rep?
No, sir, I just thank you for listening to him and allowing him to make his schedule. And once again, thank you for coming and spending time with us. Sorry it was so short.
Thank you, Mr. Bramble. Next, I'm going to recognize Senior Chair Dixon for an announcement.
Members, as we know, we've reached the crunch time. You have a list of bills in front of you. As you may know, or hope you've known and seen, we will recess at the proper time, and we will come back immediately after session here. And our goal is to pass all of the bills in front of you that are still on the docket out this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Dixon. So the first bill that will be up before us is House Bill 376. And this is going to be a fun bill. It's got a PCS and 2 amendments. Without objection, the PCS is properly before the committee. There's not. Correction, I've been told there is not a PCS. So, Representative Brody, you are recognized to present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would it be appropriate to do the amendments right away?
Okay.
Would it be appropriate to do the amendments right away?
Yes, sir. I was trying to answer the technical questions to make sure that you were going the way you're supposed to. So, yeah, you're more than welcome to present your amendments first.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first one is ABR 22, and these are pretty. I can't say simple, but they're pretty basic ones. These are changes asked for by Department of Health and Human Services, the On-Site Wastewater Division, and we see it's been negotiated with everyone, and we're supportive of it. I ask you support that.
Any questions? Representative Dixon.
For motion for approval.
Seeing no questions, no hands up, I think it'd be appropriate time for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the amendment is approved. Go to your next amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's ABR 19 version 2. This has two pretty simple provisions. Number one, it deals with allowing municipalities to improve or more time to get their insurance regulation right. They're not only have general liability, but now they're required to carry professional liability, so it gives them a little bit more time to do that. The second is it gives permission to the authorized on-site wastewater evaluator the permission to issue a letter to DEQ to allow an on-site wastewater system be installed. That's it. And we had no objections to this.
Thank you. Representative Dixon is recognized.
Motion for approval.
You've heard it, although, is there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Representative Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Brody, was that a DEQ request? That amendment?
That one was part of it, yeah. These are all gone through a number of issues, including, DEQ doesn't handle on-site wastewater. It was just a DEQ permit. The Carolina Septic Tank Association On-Site Wastewater Protection Bureau from DHHS, On-Site Wastewater's Contractor Certification Board, members of the North Carolina Groundwater Association, and members of local environmental health supervisors. These all collaborated with all of these.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it in both amendments. Now we're back on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to be pretty quick on this and pretty general. If you wanted to get much deeper into this, the member of the North Carolina Septic Tank Association is here. But first of all, what this bill does is put all the well rules under the state rules. Every county will now follow the state rules, and there are only a handful of them that had some of their own, but the state rules are pretty good. And so we're consolidating that. The second is doing basically the same thing with an on-site wastewater. Those who know what it is, that's an individual septic tank on an individual house. Those are going to be all under state rules except for 2 counties, which are Wake County and Orange County. And,
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
for a motion.
Any questions? I think, yes, Representative Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Brody, I'm trying to, there are a lot of bills here, trying to figure out maybe why you're doing this, what's the impetus behind this? Because as I understand it, what you're saying is we're going to have uniform rules statewide now for well and for on-site wastewater. Am I understanding that right?
That's correct, and 2 reasons. Number one, the well is because those of well drillers who drill in different counties, we're trying to get the same rules for everybody so they don't go to different counties with different rules. The wastewater one is a little bit different because right now, if the county evaluates and they make a mistake, if they're under state rules, them as well as the state will stand behind them and actually pay some of the fine or repair if they have it. If they go with their own rules, then they're completely on their own.
Follow up, Mr. Chair.
Follow up.
I'm not going to belabor the point, but I just, I know that we have in the past limited what local governments can do specifically, whether it's stormwater or whatever else. It seems like with septic, on-site wastewater, you have situations where you've got like mountainous terrain, you've got coastal, which is like high water tables, areas prone to flooding. It seems like you might want to have it more narrowly tailored to local governments. And if I understand it, this would prevent local governments from setting up their own systems and it would just be statewide, or did I just misinterpret your answer?
I just think behind the scenes, you don't realize that the state rules cover all those areas.
Well, I'll end there. I've explored as much as I understand. So thank you. I think it might be problematic to the extent you're getting ready to take a vote. I'm going to be a no. Thank you.
Representative Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the House Bill 376 as amended be rolled into a new committee substitute and that the committee substitute be given a favorable report, unfavorable to the original with a referral to House rules.
You've heard it. The motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and your bill is approved. And I will apologize to the committee. I've got 3 different sets of agendas up here on who's going to be heard next, so I got out of order. So next we're going to recognize Representative Davis to present House Bill 570. No, you can stay there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, this bill has been filed in order to protect our firefighters. As you may be well aware, cancer is the #1 reason for death among our firefighters, and we need to protect them when they're doing the job they're doing. What this bill does, it deals with what I'm going to call good firefighting foam, which does not contain any PFAS in it, and what I'm going to call bad firefighting foam that does have PFAS in it. And what the bill says is that the bad PFAS, which actually is the better suppressant for petroleum-type fires, will be continued to be used, but that firefighters will have reduced exposure to PFAS contamination if less toxic alternatives, being the good PFAS, is used for either training, practice, or testing. This bill has bipartisan support. I have gone over this bill with the State Fire Marshal, Brian Taylor. He is in support of the bill and has a representative here to show their support. It received a unanimous favorable report in the House Committee on Emergency Management and Disaster Recovery before coming here. And Mr. Chairman, I'll end by saying that I filed a similar bill last session. It passed all committees unanimously and it passed the House unanimously. Went to the Senate, they did not hear it. That's why I'm filing it again, and hopefully this time it'll pass the House and then go to the Senate, and they will hear it. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, I move for a favorable report for House Bill 570 with the referral to rules.
You've heard the motion. Representative Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is not going to be a pattern. You're just hitting the bills I have a lot of interest in right now. I think that, I know we want to get through this quickly. I appreciate Representative Davis's leadership on this. This is a really important issue, and I don't need to belabor the point because I think it's going to pass. But I do think we have some people who drove in pretty far to speak to this. Are we going to hear from the public? I didn't hear what you said in the beginning about public comment.
We are going to entertain public comments, and I do not have anyone who has signed up to speak on 570. Thank you. I've got the sheet. I do not have anyone who signed up to speak on House Bill 570.
Thank you.
Pardon? You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and this
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee.
House Bill 570 is approved. Now we're on House Bill 605, and let me see, I don't think this, is this a PCS? I don't think so. I don't think this is a PCS, so Representative Brody, you're up again to speak on House Bill 605.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee. This deals with a fascinating industry called advanced plastics recycling. And what they do is they take, it's not your standard what you envision recycling. They actually take the plastic, convert it back to the original formula of an oil product that was the exact same thing as what they made your plastic from in the first place. And there is some residual to it, but it's fascinating. I would suggest if you get a chance, look on YouTube on some of the videos, and you'll be amazed at it. But what this does is it deals with 3 definitions, and what the purpose of the definition is to clarify if somebody makes a claim that their certain product contains X amount of recycled plastic, that this will force them to create the data to identify and back that up. So if they claim 25%, they better have 25%. And this, by these definitions, they will be forced to retain and keep the data that shows that verification on it. And that's really the basics of. There's somebody to speak if somebody has a question, but I am finished.
Thank you, Representative Dixon.
For a motion.
The motion, I'm trying to see if we've got anybody speaking. There's nobody signed up to speak on House Bill 605, so Representative Harrison is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Brody, thank you for reaching out to me about this early on. I'm not as sanguine about this industry as you are. It's got a pretty toxic legacy. Lots of illnesses around chemical recycling plants scattered about the country, including one here in Wake County. I wanted to go into a little bit more detail because I think the significance of the definitional changes could change the way this industry is permitted, and we are protected from it in our state. So on the face of it, it does seem benign. It does seem like definitions, but I'm just looking at all this research. I have 2 sort of major areas of questions. One relates to the mass balance issue. There are concerns about the way that's calculated, and by others, some think that the waste product is actually calculated into the mass balance of the recycling. I will say that the general consensus is that the reason why we're seeing this push by oil and gas is because of the drop-off and need for oil and gas for transportation. So the industry is pushing more plastics on us. Plastics are problematic. They're not sustainable. The recycling industry is great if it works, but it doesn't really work that great. So talk to me a little bit about the mass balance attribution definition in the bill, please.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for that. The mass balance is a means to identify what part of the recycle, the beginning product that they start to recycle. The plastic comes in and being processed. how much of that ends up into a recycled product. And different industries, it varies across the board, different industries. In particular, one that I urge you to look, it's called pyrolysis. And that takes a plastic, returns about 85% of that to the original oil that they can reuse to make that very plastic again. It spins off about 10 to 15% in a methane, which they use for generally to generate more electricity to supplement their electricity. And then there's what's called a char residual, which is basically almost pure carbon that can be used somewhere else. All the products can be used. What she's making a claim is that there may be somebody who says the methane is now included in the calculation. Well, you sent me the report. I read the report. You know I come prepared for all this stuff.
Oh, sure.
And it says it doesn't. It's very specific. It says it doesn't. And we have somebody here who can refute that if I can back that up if you want. But I can't constantly answer the questions about the dangers of recycle and all that. This is basically a definition about what the recycled content is. If you want to go later on to something else about plastics, that's a completely different issue.
I appreciate that. And my second question relates to the definition on recycled products, 24A. So recycled products, I assume this is a refined or a brand new definition. It's all underlined, so I guess it's a new definition. But I see that in the language, it doesn't exempt product from otherwise applicable air, water, or hazardous waste statutory or regulatory requirements. But it does seem to exempt it from solid waste, because solid waste is not explicitly listed in the non-exemptions. Am I reading that correctly?
Well, if you take the bill, the one-page bill, and read it in its face, it strictly deals with these definitions. What it doesn't is probably a whole volume of things going on somewhere else, which this isn't the bill to address those. So this strictly addresses the content, measuring the content of what the recycled material is in the finished product. And that's how it works.
Thank you. Sorry, I need another follow-up. Mr. Representative Brody.
No, we explained the rules when we started. There would be one question. If there was time after, we would go to a second question. You've already had two, so I'm going to say no.
I ask your support on this for a dynamic industry.
Okay, so you've heard the motion, and I'm sorry, you haven't heard the motion. Representative Dixon.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I move that House Bill 605 receive a favorable motion with the referral to rules.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and we're going to move on to House Bill 6.
It's referred to state and local.
This is state. I'm sorry.
It's going to be referred.
Correction, it will be referred to state and local government. The next bill we have on our agenda today is House Bill 694, and it'll be presented by Representative Warren. And I do not believe this is a PCS either.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a study bill. It simply directs the Environmental Finance Center at the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill School of Government to study and report on the benefits, cost, and the financial, statutory, or regulatory obstacles of regionalization of water and wastewater services across the state. Requires the EFC to consult with various stakeholders, including the State Water Infrastructure Authority and any other entity that the EFC finds relevant to its study, and it directs the EFC to report its findings and recommendations to the House Oversight, the Senate Rate Reform Committee, and the Joint Legislative Committee on Government Operations by April 1st of 2026. I appreciate your support.
Representative Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the House Bill 694 receive a favorable report with the referral to rules.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the bill is moved to Rules, Calendar, and Operation of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
The next bill that's on our agenda today is House Bill 833, Representative Lowry. I don't see Representative Lowry. How about Representative Cheshire? Don't see either one of them, so we're going to move to House Bill 850. Representative Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 850 deals with interbasin transfers. Section 1 suggests that the state laws regulating surface water transfers originally enacted more than 30 years ago should be comprehensively reviewed and evaluated. Section 2 calls on the North Carolina Collaboratory at the University of North Carolina to conduct such a study. If you look at Section 2, the Army Corps of Engineers would be conducting part of the research on the study. And Section 4 calls for a moratorium until the studies and the certifications have been completed. And I'll stand for any questions.
Representative Dixon.
A motion.
Is there anybody else wanting to speak before we move on? Representative Dixon's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I recommend that House Bill 850 receive a favorable report with a referral to regulatory reform.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and it's referred.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next one up, and how far are we? Let's keep. The next one on our agenda is House Bill number 468. So your speaker left, and he's going to get heard before lunch anyhow, Jeffrey. So Jeffrey McNeely is, Representative McNeely, Chairman, is recognized to present House Bill 468.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. This bill has been before the House before. Last year, what we ended up doing was splitting the hemp and kratom bill that I filed last year in half. We're playing a little hide and go seek game. You'll figure that out once this bill makes it to the Senate, what I'm talking about. So trying to spread my options out. It's a very good bill. A lot of people aren't familiar with kratom. This is actually more of an herb than it is any kind of drug or usage in whatever way you may think is hallucinogenic. It's not. It's more about pain relief. And I stand for any questions. It's a pretty involved bill.
Representative Dixon.
For a motion.
Motion. Is any questions before we move to the motion? Seeing none, Representative Dixon is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for a favorable report for House Bill 468 with the referral to reg reform.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and it is referred.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Well, I guess we didn't have all the fun we wanted with House Bill, with PFAS. We're going to House Bill 569. And I believe there is an amendment on it.
Mr. Chairman, could you please hear another bill and let me go back to my office and get my file, because I was told we weren't going to hear this till
Well,
this
absolutely.
afternoon.
Evidently, I'm doing a good job. We're moving through faster than I thought we were. So, yeah, you're by all means.
You're doing an outstanding job. I'll run down and be right back.
Okay. So we've heard 370s. We've heard 376, haven't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? Where do we find these amendments?
On the committee website.
Thank you.
While we're at a pause, just for a second, someone has sent me text. I'm sorry, the committee's at ease while your chairman's trying to figure out what he's doing. Hold on.
Chairman,
Yes,
could I speak on our field trip tomorrow?
absolutely.
All right, and this is open to all members. We're actually having a field trip tomorrow. I hope you've been noticed of that, and I hope you can all go. A little bit of a change, and this will be put out. It's getting noticed right now. The agenda, at 11 o'clock, we will actually meet at the Turf Center to park and board the bus. And Turf Center address 3912 Dr. Bill Gilbert Way, Raleigh. That will be noticed out to you, so make sure you understand we're going there, not straight to the feed mill. Then we'll arrive at the feed mill about 11:05 and be led by Dr. Adam Farholtz, our professor there. And then we will depart from there for the Dairy Museum, which is where we'll have lunch right around 12 o'clock. And then we'll tour the dairy facility approximately 12:30 and then conclude at 1 o'clock, either the bus or return to your cars, whichever. But look forward to having a very interesting field day tomorrow. And I have been promised, I hope it will come through, some Howling Cow ice cream will be involved in this if that is what it takes to persuade some of y'all to get on the bus.
Thank you, Chairman McNeely. House Bill 729 we did not hear today, and my understanding is a farmer named Ken Gerganis has drove 3 hours to be here, and I think it would be appropriate that we allow him to speak for up to 2 minutes. So if he's still here, we would allow him to speak.
Thank you, Chairman, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Yes, I am a row crop farmer from Martin County. My wife, my family, and I roughly farm 500 acres, and a little bit over a decade ago, we were contacted by Ecoplexus, a San Francisco-based solar provider, about using some parcel of land that we have to put a solar farm on. And we made that decision about 10 years ago. And having said that, 3 things I'd like to point out very quickly. Being self-employed, we don't have a company-funded pension plan. And having said that, we depend on those dollars that we receive annually from the solar provider, entering into our retirement age years, and we certainly appreciate the opportunity that we have to receive those funds. Secondly, right now the farm economy is absolutely absurd. You know, we cannot produce enough on the farm to be able to combat the input cost, insurance, labor cost, machinery cost, other inputs that we can't possibly turn a profit. And oftentimes we're required to use those solar money to offset the cost that we have incurred on the farm. And lastly, sir, you know, I will say that when we were contacted by Ecoplexus 10 or 12 years ago, we asked them if it was possible for our sons to do the vegetative maintenance on the property, which I can throw a stone in from my front yard. And we were denied at first, you know, but a few months later, you know, they were given that opportunity to do so. And I'm proud to say today that they have formed Gerganis Solar Care LLC and currently serve 6 solar farms within a 50-mile radius of our home. That also provides income that we couldn't derive from the acreage that we have. And I'm so proud that my boys are able to extend the farm working with us every day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gerganis. Appreciate you coming here. I think you said from Martin County. Now we're going to go to Representative Harry Warren. He has patiently waited because he told me I had skipped over him. So being that Representative Davis had to go get his homework, we're going to recognize Representative Warren for House
Thank you,
Bill
Mr. Chair. Appreciate your
381.
consideration. This bill simply narrows.
Excuse me. This is a proposed committee substitute without objection. It's before the committee.
Pardon me, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Appreciate your consideration. This simply creates a process by which on-site wastewater systems can be approved as innovative wastewater systems applicable to advanced pretreatment systems, provided that the advanced pretreatment system has met certain testing and performance requirements. This bill's been crafted in consultation with DHHS, which is why we actually have a PCS, and appreciate your support with referral to rules.
Representative Dixon, 381.
For a motion.
Is there any questions? Seeing none, I think this would be the proper time for a motion.
I move that House Bill 381 receive a favorable motion with the referral to rules.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and it is approved.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm sorry. Unfavorable to the original and favorable to the proposed committee substitute. Okay, now we're back on Representative Davis's bill, and let me see if I can find that number. I think it is 569. We're going to talk about some PFAS again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, what this bill does, it addresses the PFAS contamination that is put into a water source that goes into a public utility. what this bill sets out, it sets out the permissible concentration levels of PFAS being what would be established by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. A PFAS manufacturer is a person that originally makes PFAS. That's very important. Originally makes PFAS. That term does not include a person that uses previously made PFAS material or items obtained from an original PFAS maker in any product that they may be doing. A responsible party is defined as being a PFAS manufacturer whose discharge or release of PFAS into the environment has caused or contributed to the presence of PFAS in a public water system. What that means is, once again, this only applies if an entity makes PFAS from scratch. Then that PFAS is entered into the water source, which then goes into a public utility authority. If the Secretary of the Department of Environmental Quality, who has been specified as the federally delegated duty to enforce the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act in North Carolina, and also has enforcement powers under state statute, may order a responsible party to pay a public water system any actual and necessary cost incurred by the water system to remove, correct, or abate any adverse effects upon the water supply resulting from a contamination which the person is responsible if the Secretary determines, once again, the person is a PFAS manufacturer, the manufacturer has discharged or released PFAS into the environment that has caused or contributed to the presence of PFAS in the public water system, and that concentration of PFAS in the public water system exceeds a permissible concentration level. One thing this bill also does is if a entity is found to be liable under this bill, that any money that is obtained from the polluter will be returned to the ratepayers. And that is one of the most important parts of this bill, is the fact that right now the ratepayers are responsible for the cost that are incurred by that public utility authority in order to remove the PFAS contamination that was put in there by the polluter, and that is not right. To give you an example, the Cape Fear Public Utility Authority, who has a representative here today in support of this bill, has spent $82,849,988 in ratepayer funds to address PFAS contamination in our water supply. That is 10% or a $7.50 of every monthly bill for the average ratepayer, and those rates have had to be raised in order to pay that. Brunswick County has a Northwest Water Treatment Plan. It spent $158.7 million in order to expand and have a low pressure reverse osmosis treatment.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We've got a hard stop at 5 minutes till 12. We're going to vote on this bill before 5 minutes to 12.
When you tell me to stop, sir, I'll stop.
Well, also, and I forgot to mention that you have an amendment, so you've already addressed the bill, so I guess you probably need to tell us what the amendment is. It looks like it's technical.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very simple. The amendment just strikes page 1, lines 19 and 20, and inserts the term shall not include a person that uses previously made PFAS compounds obtained from a PFAS manufacturer, for example. And I ask for your support on the amendment and on the bill.
Representative Dixon.
I move for favorable report on Representative Davis's amendment to his bill.
Is there any questions? If not, all those in favor of the proposed amendment, would you please say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the amendment is approved. Now we are back on House Bill 569. All those in favor? So no, we don't have a motion yet. You're going to make the motion? Okay. Representative Dixon is recognized.
I move that we give a favorable report to House Bill 569 as amended, be rolled into a new committee substitute, and that the committee substitute be given a favorable report, unfavorable to the original bill with a referral to House Appropriations.
You've heard the motion. Are there any questions on the motion as presented? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and it is approved. We do have a number of people that have signed up to speak on 569, and we're at a hard stop in about 1 minute. So if you can speak for 1 minute, Jeff Fritz, and then we're gonna, if you're welcome to come back after we have our session, and you can come back because there's several of you want to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm Jeff Fritz with the Chemours Company. As many of you know, when Chemours' neighbors first became concerned about PFAS emissions because of a Star News story in 2017, Chemours voluntarily ceased all emissions of our operations to the Cape Fear River. This eliminated 95% of the PFAS going to the river. We've since spent hundreds of millions of dollars eliminating the remaining 5%. During this time, Chemours was always in compliance with its DEQ-issued permits, and we actually taught the DEQ how to analyze and measure our emissions. As you also may well know, no PFAS was regulated in this country by the US EPA until April of 2024. We respectfully suggest that Chemours should not be made liable for all other PFAS and various contaminants coming down the Cape Fear River, for which new filtration systems have been built to address. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. And with that, we wind up our committee and we are adjourned.